Background talent to me is very important. It was an
Yes.
interesting conversation I was having on Facebook the other day with my Boston talent. Hi, Boston. Somebody had made a comment that the future will mean that background talent will be CGI at post.
Really?
Okay, so if you guys don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like
they're basically going to be dubbing in like fake people in the background, and they do it now, but it's not at a level that it looks correct.
Right.
I told the gentleman that was arguing this point with me, I said I don't agree, because background talent is important. If I don't have background talent to fill my scenes, it doesn't look right. You don't want an empty scene. You want a scene that has life in it, because it's true to life.
Yes.
And that's what you're doing. We're replicating life. Yeah. So background talent is they're super important.
I agree.
You are an important person. When I first started out in Hollywood, in my first gig, I can remember, basically them telling us like we're not in the upper tier. So,
right.
And if you don't know what that means, you have above the line and below the line. So above the line is going to be your executive producers, your director generally, and then below the line those are the people, your crew members, your talent, even big actors, and anybody else that would be on that set to make that production. So being above the line was like, those are the people that are putting this production together. They have to have a lot of respect. Maybe some of the reason why, background talent was just considered like the crap of the film industry, and it's so not true. You want to work with directors and producers much like myself and Diana, because we've been there. We understand what it's like, and we're going to treat you with respect and kindness, right. Because we can't have a production without you.
Right. And I'll never forget where I came from, like it's also like I've worked with a director, and the way he was treating talent, I was just like, you need to go and be an extra one day. Yeah. Because then maybe you'll understand that like we are trained in especially when you're an extra on a huge set from like Hollywood or like Burn Notice that was here, The Glades, whatever it was, or Bloodline right now that's happening, you learn the professionalism. So these independent directors or these indie people that have just got out of school and they're just like doing things, I'm like, no, you want to be as professional as that. So why don't you just go and learn a little bit here and there, so right. You'll know that we all go by action and cut and back to one and learn the lingo. Just because you want to be unique and different director, still learn the lingo that these actors you're asking to come on your set to work with. I remember getting so frustrated. I'm like, you need to, I know you're the director, I was the producer. So I was just like, you need to learn how to speak to these actors, because if you're like, oh, go ahead.
Every good director takes acting classes, so they understand, how these people, you have to be able to have a romantic connection and a closeness. I don't mean romantic like, you're going to go screw somebody. I'm saying like you need to be so romantically connected to the talent that you trust each other.
Exactly.
Without trust, and usually when I'm directing, I, really build that with my talent, even if it's background.
Right.
Because I feel that if I'm, I do that, they're going to perform. They're going to give me what I'm looking for. So I don't have to be there all day, It's super important to take classes. If you're directing, you don't just get out the gate and become, Quentin Tarantino. You ain't going to eat all that in a bag of chips, just to let you know. And the other thing is your ego. Put that thing away. When you go to set, it's about the production. It's not about you.
Amen.
It's about the production.
Yes, it's about the art that's about to be created with you in it, no matter where you're at. If you're the gaffer, the extra, the lead, or the director, it is about that whole, especially if we are being hired as a company for a product. I'm talking about the commercial side of things now, because that's where I'm basically working more on. but I get it now. It's about, you know, coming together. And listen, I just did a production for Ask Media. I just got hired. So far I've done 2.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Gosh, Adam is the best. I love him because he's a businessman.
Yeah.
He doesn't put up with junk.
Right.
But at the same time, he's very respectful and he's very giving.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm not blowing him.
Fantastic cameraman, by the way.
Yes. So he is. And then the whole family, the family that he put together, I love each one of them. Each, the boys, the girl. I mean, I could say that because I'm the oldest. But so that production, though, and I love the fact that he trusted me because he was dealing with behind the scenes with the crew, the camera, the lighting and everything, while I was dealing with the talent and the actual client. And I became, not only was I the creative producer, casting director, I was principal, I was background, I was also set decorating, and I was PAing, as in, you know, and wardrobe. Yeah. So you put on all these hats. You do what you have, and I don't care who you are, even if you're background. Right. If they ask you to do something, be respectful, because people are watching. So now I know next time I'm like, hey, we need an extra PA and background and a principal. Hey, they'll do all 3. And you'll get paid for all 3. Yeah. You know, sometimes, great. I mean, I shouldn't promise that, but you just go and do it because it's about the production. That ego thing, I have come too much across of people so full of themselves that they end up alone. Yeah, and it's not even warranted half the time, you know, like, you know, come on. You just have to constantly think of the production. And I find that if everyone on set goes there with that in mind, the workflow is a lot easier. The people have a better time. You know, it's just so much better if you just always think about the product. Right. Production is all it's about. And that tends to eliminate a lot of the head cases, I think, that are out there. So let's talk a little more about SoFlo filmmaking. Okay. And the industry down here. So right now, we do not have tax incentives, and so therefore the film companies are all they're going to places like Louisiana and Georgia instead of coming down here. We have a great place to film here. I mean, we're just as good as California. Our weather is amazing all year long. Yeah. And we have the diversity of human beings. That anytime you need a black, white, Asian, whatever, Spanish, a mix, whatever you want, they're right there, all over there. So you don't have to go looking for it. And we have the talent. We do have talented people here. We have a lot of reality film making that goes on down here, which I'll tell the secret. It's a reality show. It's scripted. A little or improvised. Yeah, but they tell you the direction there. So, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. People want to watch it, that's great. But you did Burn Notice in Glades when it was here, right? Yes, and Graceland. And all Graceland. So all of those though have wrapped. They're all finished. Yeah. And what's the buzz right now? Is anything going on down here that you know of? Bloodline and Ballers are the only things that I know that are happening here. You know, sometimes a movie will come in and out. Yeah, they do a lot of pickup shots here. Yeah, so like there was a movie called Arms and Dudes, but I think they changed the name and it's out now. And I forgot the guy's Jonah Hill is in it or something. Yeah. Right. I know it's so bad that I'm in this industry and I don't know anything or anybody. I mean, not anything. It's hard to keep up. It is. But it's like I watch Netflix or I read or write. You know what I mean? So I'm not constantly watching movies and TV and everything. I'm busy. I have a family too. Not only do I do everything, I'm also a brand ambassador and I'm a substitute teacher at 2 different private schools in Broward County. Yeah. So amazing. Well, that's because, like you said, there's not enough work. So this industry. I have to be able to pay my bills in other ways. So I'm looking to, you know, I'll even babysit a kid. I mean, whatever it is to try to pay the bills and to be flexible because I want to be flexible. I don't want to be, you know, and I know so many people, their heart breaks because they have to take that 40-hour job. that they're artists. They're not meant to be in a cubicle. I know it. There's people that are meant to be doing that, but there's other people that are just depressed because they have to.
I mean, what she's saying is absolutely true, and that's why it's really important that we, rally together and go to Congress and ask for the tax monies to come back.
Right.
Because, when I was first getting started in this and I went out to California, I became an extra. That was how it was the catalyst to jumpstarting my career.
Exactly.
But I was making $700-800 a week. So, and I had more work than I could know what to do with.
Right.
At the end of every day, you called your agent, you let them know I'm available tomorrow, and they would book you. And I never, ever had any issues having work. And it was great because I was working in the industry that I love to be around. I was learning a lot.
Right.
But besides that, economically, film is huge for the towns that these projects are being done in because it pays for the hotels.
Yes.
So the hospitality industry is being used.
Yep.
There's usually a police presence that has to be on set if it's a major production. So they're getting, paid for being there. Everything from catering to waste pickup.
Yes.
There's so many jobs that one film can create.
Exactly.
And this is why I want to advocate. I want to keep bringing this up to Patricia Hawkins and Kevin Radar, who are our state reps here in Florida. It's super important that we hammer them to bring the film industry back because there's no reason we can't have it.
Exactly. I mean, I know that we should be voting out the governor soon. I guess he keeps shooting it down. And it's just, it baffles me because we need work and the film industry creates work. But I also understand that us that need the work, we need to not sit around our butts and just do nothing.
That's
okay.
Correct.
And I think some of these people, they're just so, got stars in their eyes and like, oh, this is so much fun. I've always wanted to be an actor, but they don't know how exactly to approach that. And I think that might be the issue as well. So if there was an easy way to spoon feed these people, I hate to put it that way, because and I know how to do this. Okay. But that's because we have that producer mentality. We're also a little wiser than the 20-something-year-old, but we got to push it in a way where we're teaching them, hey, you're your own advocate. Kind of just like the healthcare system. Right. You never know what that can lead, but you got to work for it, people. If you're an actor, you need to get out of your bubble and go network, even if you're not the person.
If you're working with an agent and the agent says to you, oh, I really, I want to work with you, but I need you to take my training course first, or I need you to get my headshots. Even though yours are fine, you have to use ours. Run for the hills.
Yeah,
Run,
away.
right?
Quickly.
Yes, yeah. And they exist.
Yes.
These people exist down here. So you want to make sure that you're doing, following our instruction because we're experienced people. We've been there. We know what it's about.
We've seen the hurt and pain and the scam and the loss of money. I know a guy who did that, and he at $1,500 later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, you're never supposed to be paying anybody no. If you're the talent, they work for you. You know what I mean? They pay you. You don't pay them.
That's correct. And I think before you sign on the dotted line, if you need an entertainment lawyer to look over your contract, it's only going to benefit you. Hopefully they will do that for a relatively reasonable cost.
Right.
But it helps if you have somebody else look over your contract with that agency prior to. And if somebody is not treating you properly, turn them in. They'll lose their license. I mean, we can't have people like that because I'm preaching to you to be professional. I expect them to be even more professional than that because they're responsible for your money.
Yeah.
So, so we're speaking about that. You're a union actress at this point, right?
Oh no,
SAG?
No, I didn't. Well, it doesn't make sense I'm a SAG eligible, but it doesn't it doesn't make any sense to be SAG down here because we don't have anything. I my heart is to grow South Florida. I have a family here. I'm about to be a grandma. Okay.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's.
I'd kill my daughter. I'll kill you, Nicole. Don't do it.
No, it's my bonus daughter, and she's 28, so she's married and everything. But I'm just saying, like, my family's here. I love South Florida. I love my home. I do not want to leave here ever, unless, we end up going under because of, nature. Yeah. But other than that, I don't plan on leaving. So I have to, just be wise in the choices I make. And that's another thing I do as well when I'm offered maybe a role or I'm offered something, so many times people just say yes or sign the line or whatever. But because of my faith, I always take one step back and I ask, can I have a day or two to pray about it? And that shows me a lot about the person that's offering. Because if they're like, pray, or are you crazy? Okay, no, I don't. Well, then I don't want to work with you. Yeah. If you're not able to respect my beliefs, right. And not that I'm a preachy Christian or anything like that. I just love humans and I love God. And that's what's gotten me this far. And that's what protects my soul.
The rest, the other 95% are working actors that make good money. They can make easily 6 figures a year, especially if you land like a decent spot like Flo.
Yeah.
From Progressive, awesome actress.
Right.
But she's a household name. I mean, she's probably paid, I'm sure, very well.
Right.
So, put yourself in a real reality check, like you're saying. Yeah, we all want to think that, someday I'm going to be really big. But you do have to put yourself into that reality check. But guess what? You have to work twice as hard for that.
Exactly.
Unless you know somebody in the ET, your uncle, brother, dad, whoever, you ain't getting in there anytime soon. So you might as well enjoy the ride and work your ass off, because that's right. The only way you're going to get anywhere.
I don't know. It might be in Miami though.
Prior to this call, and I'm waiting for a call back from them, because some people have been asking, what's the difference between union and non, and the work, what the work deal is. To the best of my knowledge, and I know a lot of my Florida talent will argue with this with me, I spoke with SAG after when I first got to Florida, asking them what their criteria entailed. And they say, once you're a union talent,
you can never go back.
You cannot work on non-union.
Exactly.
Some talent will tell me, oh, but, Florida's a forgiving state and blah, blah, blah. There's no such thing. If the union finds out that you've crossed over the line and you're accepting non-union work,
yeah, you can lose your card.
You could lose your card. You'll lose your privileges. And feel free to contact them. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you. But it's, this is an ongoing struggle with people today. The Boston actors were all discussing whether or not somebody was, I think, SAG eligible, and they were confused on whether or not they should cross that line. Well, my best advice to you would be, look at what's going on in your market. If the majority of the production is non-union work, well, then there you have it. It's right. Pretty much common sense. And so why would you want to go SAG-AFTRA? It's a $3,000 a year ticket.
Well, no, I think it's $3,000 to get in, to join, but then after, I think it's
like $50,000.
Yeah, or something a year. And I see the benefits. I mean, because I have had to do the SAG paperwork for films that I produce as an independent producer. Right. So I know, I remember being on that set, okay, it's been 6 hours, we got to go, and okay, they can only work, that's a child, 5 hours, so you got to go. So it does protect the actor. I do love the fact that it's a union that protects the actor. But at the same time down here, and that's the difference between going on a set where they're allowed to use us background if we're not SAG till 12 hours or 14 hours and you're not eating, or there was one that I think they still got in trouble. One of my first was a commercial where they gave us water out of one of those yellow igloos,
Oh my God.
And it was like 100. It was like we were riding bikes and what else? We were jogging in the hot sun all day long in Miami.
For you? No,
they had an igloo water. That's what they gave us. Yeah, and I will never forget that. I was like,
and this was from an ad agency.
This was a commercial. I don't even remember. It was one of my first gigs I ever did as a background for a commercial.
So here's the other tip that I'm going to give you, because I'm piggybacking off of what she just said. The other thing is, if you're working on set and you're treated poorly and you're not union, let's say you're not in the union, please contact your local SAG after office, because they do want to know about that. And what ends up happening is they will work with the film commission, and next time those people go to get a permit, it's very possible that they will pull the permit and won't give it to them because they're mistreating people. At this point, I would think we'll stop here because it was really good conversation. We brought up a lot of different stuff through this. I do want to say thank you to my viewers for watching Ask Eve. Yeah. If you'd like to learn more or help out or want to be on the show, please make sure that you give me a shout out. And for Diana, if you're interested in working with Diana, and you can contact her at info@dianasrice.com. I'll also have that up on the screen somewhere.
All right, great.
A special thank you to the cool dudes and dudettes at Zoom.us and giving out the biggest shout out to Conch Shell Cafe, which is down in Bell Harbor, and Vibram 5 Fingers Shoes. So don't forget to catch us on Twitter at AskEveNow and our YouTube channel, which is Ask Eve.
Great.
See you guys next time.